Welcome back to this opinion corner of mine. Just a little corner I sit in while I film these videos. No, that's not why it's named that, but anyway. Today the topic is being a good person, as the title states. And, well, being a good person is something that most people tend to strive for, but what does it even mean to be a good person? Well, people have different definitions of a good person. Most people seem to agree that it means someone who is unselfish and caring. People who don't act on their negative emotions and are humble, right? Some people would probably say a good person is someone whose actions are always justified. A lot of people feel this need to be identified as a good person. Sometimes, in my opinion, it's actually bad to identify as that. Because if you say you're a good person, you may start to ignore your own faults, and before you know it, you're in a downward spiral of your character where you just become like a worse and worse person and don't even realize it because you're just like, no, I'm a good person. Yeah. And people put a lot of pressure on other people to be good people as well. Selfishness is usually considered bad. However, everyone is sometimes selfish. You can't avoid that. Some psychologists or philosophers or whatever would say people are all selfish all the time, but that's like for an entirely different video, to be honest, because I have a lot to say on that as well. Sorry, I have no idea who's texting me. I should have muted it. Being a good person to me means that you try to treat others with kindness and a level of honesty, definitely. The concept of a good person, however, is very loose to me. I have my own thoughts about good and evil as a whole. If you really want to be a good person, in my opinion, you first have to admit that you're not a good person. I know this is kind of like, you know how people make those arguments, like those videos where people say, first, to help eradicate racism, you have to admit that you're racist. Yeah, that came across a little weird, I'll admit. But really, why I say that is because everybody is selfish sometimes. And being selfish is okay, but by most people's standards, you can't be selfish and be a good person. So, in my opinion, you have to acknowledge this fault, that you're not the perfect person, let's say that. That's maybe a better way to put that. I don't consider myself a good person. I do try to be loyal, honest, and at least a level of helpful or compassionate. However, I do acknowledge my faults. I can easily come across as uncaring or mean. I slack far too much and don't take responsibility, and I tend to bring controversy into some situations. Because I admit my faults though, these among a bunch of other ones I didn't even bring up. I can work on becoming a good person, or a better person. Of course, a good person is an image of perfection I don't think anyone can ever achieve, especially since, like I said, it differs for everyone what a good person is. I'm also not saying that you should never give yourself credit for doing good things, because you definitely should. And you should aspire to do good things as well. In short, I think we should all accept responsibility over our own faults, and instead of becoming a good person, we should try to become the best person we possibly can ourselves. Calling someone a good person is an extremely high compliment, in my opinion, but upon receiving it, you should always remember not to let it get to your head. Take a step back and always remember to try and be better. To me, being a good person isn't the most important thing in the world anyways. Being happy is. But that's just my opinion. I wanted to say a few more words about people who do think they're good people and are really stuck in that idea. Because I feel like that's something I needed to put more emphasis on out of script. Because these people do exist, and I guess they have kind of like this good person complex. I don't know if there's actually a word for it. Maybe there is. But the fact that they always think that they're the good person, that they always strive for the moral high ground. Oh, look at me, I'm on my moral high ground, leads them to do a lot of awful things, and they might not even realize how awful those things are. So part of why I made this video was to maybe give those people who think that there is no way they could be bad something that they could look at, like as a mirror for themselves, as a reflection, to kind of look back on what they're doing, to see if what they're doing is really justified, or if they're just if they just really always want to be on the moral high ground. That's all I wanted to say about this.